Weeks nga bbiri ze tukubye emabega tulabyeko obwegugungo obubadde mu gavumenti obubadde mu ggwanga erya Kenya erikulemberwa Sir Samuel Ruto William. Obwegugungo buno bwajjawo oluvannyuma lwa gavumenti okuyisa embalirira era nga eraga nti no bwongeza ebintu ebisinga okugeza ng'omugaati nga butto saako n'ensonga endala ez'abasawo abaali bateereddwako insurance abaali bajongeza. Kino nno ne kitanula akabinja akeeyita Generation Z. Generation Z kye ki? Generation Z oba Gen Z ke kabinja ak'abavubuka. Kano nno bagamba bali wansi w'emyaka 17. Okuva ku myaka 17 emyaka egyo egy'abavubuka. Bano nno bagamba be bakola ebitundu ebinene mu Kenya naye gavumenti ebanyigiriza. Kale nno ne beegugunga era Kenya efiiriddwa ebintu bingi nnyo kuba obwegugungo buno bwe bwabeerawo. Abavubuka bano bakola ebitundu 80% of Kenya's population is below the age of 35 who are sick and tired of the deferred promises of development since the dawn of multi-party democracy.
Because whatever we are doing right now, it's not just for the young people, it's not about the millennials or Gen Zs, it's for everyone. We as a country have gone through these problems from independence, and those are the things that we are trying to change.
So banyiivu nnyo ne basalawo era ng'ekigendwa kyabwe baagala kujja President Ruto mu buyinza. Bano nno bwe beekalakaasa President n'abawoninga n'abagamba muve ku street era twalabako tear gas, omukka ogwo ogubalagala gwa tear gas saako n'amazzi agabalagala naye baasalawo okuba nga basigala ku streets era nga bintu bingi ebyonooneddwa mu nnaku zino. Era nga wenjogerera wadde gavumenti yapondooka n'eteeka mu nkola bye baasaba era n'eno biiru eya finance biiru ne bagirejectinga. Bano nno tekyabamalidde, bagambye baagala genda mu State House baggyeko Ruto.
Things that they're trying to pass as different bills away from the finance bill. And so for us, we are exhausted with the constant lies, with constantly taking us for fools. At the end of the day, we are a people who are educated and know exactly what we want and what is supposed to be happening in this country. You promised us this, you're doing the contrary to that, and we are not okay with that. We are tired of having conversations. We are tired of commissions being created to deal with the youth. We are tired. Now we want action.
I will not only champion for the cause of issue-based, policy-oriented, and tribeless engagement on critical national issues, but also provide a framework for this conversation to be processed and its outcomes implemented. However, our national conversation on any subject matter must be conducted in a manner that respects and honors the foundational values upon which our nation is established, namely constitutionalism, the rule of law, and respect for institutions.
Wadde nga ensonga zaabwe ziringa ezaakoleddwa ku baalumba paaliyamenti era kyawalirizibwa poliisi okuba amasasi era abavubuka bangi baafa. Baalumba paalamenti ne boonoona ebintu munono mwe twalabira n'okwonoona Uganda House, ekizimbe ekya Uganda ekiri e Kenya. Baakikuba ne bakiteekako omuliro. Kale nno nga bamaze okukola ebyo byonna, Ruto avuddeyo ayogedde, atadde mu nkola bye baagala ekiteeso kino bakiggyeewo era n'ateesa n'agamba gavumenti egenda kukola buli kimu ekisoboka, ewulirizza okukaaba kwa bannansi, egenda kukola buli kimu ekisoboka okulaba nga basala budget era expenditure ereme kubeera nnene nnyo ate kunyigiriza bannansi. Kati nno kano akabenja ka Z aka generation Z kaganye okusomuka kagamba ono abaguumaazi era nga kyalina okukola kiri kimu kyokka kwe kulaba nga alekulira entebe ey'obwa pulezidenti era bo balonde owaabwe. Amasasi kuva wiiki eno yatandika gabadde ganyooka era nga geesooza. Akabenja kano kalina gye wandiise history. In a historical context, the uprising represents a constellation of forces and aspirations that have marked Kenya's political economy since World War II. It can be urged that, as elsewhere in Africa, it marks the third pivotal movement in the country's relentless drive for an inclusive and sustainable democratic developmental state and society. The first moment was for political independence from colonialism, the second for democratic order from colonial and post-colonial despotism. These uprisings for economic transformation and accountability. The first crucial moment in the long, tortured, expansive and complex journey came after World War II. It was characterized by the struggle for independence from British settlers' colonialism that was waged on multiple fronts, from the guerrilla warfare of the Land and Freedom Army, otherwise known as Mau Mau, to civil disobedience and protests in which the labor movement played a crucial role, and the mushrooming political parties shared their elites' preoccupations and embraced massive nationalism. The nationalist struggle culminated in the protracted and messy negotiation that culminated in Kenya's decolonialization in 1963. They were largely fueled by the energies and aspirations of young men and women. Remember Dedan Kimathi and Tom Mboya, the charismatic leaders of Mau Mau and the labor movement respectively, were in the year 20s when they began their political struggle, and most of their followers were concentrated among the youth. This is true of the independence movement across Africa and the civil rights movement in the diaspora. In the 1955, Martin Luther King was 26 when he led a Montgomery bus boycott that catapulted him to national prominence as a civil rights leader. Now, the post-colonial dispensation that emerged after independence was deeply compromised by the stubborn structural legacies of colonialism and the social contradictions and ideological schism of the nationalist movement. The political kingdom was not inherited by the peasant and workers who had borne the brunt of Britain's murderous clank with its concentration camps, but by the loyalists and aspiring national bourgeoisie. The intoxicating promises of freedom, Uhuru soon gave way to the autocracy of one party-led state by the Kenya African National Union, and that is KANU. The tantalization dream of economic growth and the state led by the transformation turned into what I call authoritarian developmentalism, characterized by persistent external dependence, rising socio-economic inequalities, mass unemployment, and underemployment and kleptocracy. The second critical movement came in 1980s and 1990s in the struggle for the second independence. The structural deformities of Kenya's political economy were exposed and exacerbated with brutal clarity by the structural adjustment programs that were imposed with fundamentalist zeal by the International Monetary Fund and World Bank, the age-old genderness of global capitalism now wedded to the uncompromising gospel of neoliberalism that led to the dismantling of the warfare state in the global north and the developmental state in the global south. It marked the final nail in the coffin of the independence social contract.